Thanks for coming over to this YouTube video. I'll start creating more, but if you could please like and subscribe, that would be awesome. That would really help me out. But this video is talking about questions to ask when you're going into a prep center interview. So we'll just start at the top and we'll work our way down. I'll add little notes as we go. So how long have you been in business? When you're looking at a prep center, you're looking for a strategic growth partner. And so you want to make sure that you can rely on them. You want to have an understanding of their history. You want to understand if they started private, went public, etc., how that's going. And so if you have an idea of how long they've had their systems up and running, you can get an idea of how long they're going to, be that strategic growth partner that you're looking for. All right, so the next question is, what systems do you leverage? Some will use a Google Sheet, some will use a website that they have where you're going to enter all of your data in. And for me, this is the most important question on the sheet. You need to understand what your responsibility is going to be to make sure that your product gets to the prep center and gets to Amazon accurately. If they have a bad intake process, that is going to cost you a lot of time. It's going to stress you out. It's going to deter your desire to buy because it's going to be difficult to get your data into the system. So you're looking for a very simple and manageable process, because we have to remember that simple scales, complex fails. So if you have a complex process, it is not going to work for you in the long run. So you need to make sure that their process is very, very simple and easy to use. Rates, fees, and subscriptions. Different prep centers will have different models. They may have monthly fees. They may have fees per box. You need to understand what's going to be expected of you. And this really leads into the next question, or the next question you should be asking, which would be, can you give me an example invoice? Because you'll get a packet of information from a prep center. It's a lot of information to process and to try and apply to your situation. So if you get an invoice of what a typical client in your business model is receiving, then you can really understand what is going to be expected of you and what your bottom line is, what you should be building into your cost per prep. Well, turnaround time. So this is going to be very, very important. You really want your prep center to be nimble and to receive your product and get it out as quickly as possible. If it's sitting at the prep center, it does you no good. So if you can get an estimate of how long they typically take to turn around product, that'll help you. That'll also help you hold them accountable if they're not meeting that measure and that's what they've promised. Scheduled days off. This is going to be important so you understand what days they do not prep. Are they off on Saturdays? Are they off on Sundays? Different prep centers will have different models. Maybe they only send out on certain days. So you really need to understand how often they are taking inbound and getting to outbound. You can also layer in holidays. What holidays are they taking off? Again, this will just help you get an idea of what to expect, and you can understand how nimble your prep center is going to be. Getting an idea of what their staff looks like. How many people do they have prepping? How large is their operation? One question I really like to ask is, how long have people been working for you? If they're facing turnover, they're going to have issues with training. You're going to have inaccuracy. So if you have people that have been working for this prep center for a longer period of time, they're going to be more reliable. So understanding this going in is going to be important. Getting an idea of what their client base looks like. You really want to understand how many clients they're working with. Do they have a small number of large producers, or do they have many small producers? So, if you have a facility that's taking in large quantity from limited people, there's probably going to be a lower opportunity for error. But if you have a prep center that's facilitating many different clients and they're getting small numbers from those clients, that may be a higher opportunity for error. So understanding that is going to be really important. Leads into the next question, which is, how long on average do folks stay with you? The prep center may not be super excited to share this, but this is going to be a very good indicator of their ability to be a good growth partner for you. If they have clients that stick with them for a long period of time, that's a really good sign. Understanding their strategic vision is going to be really important here. So, and what goes into that strategic vision is, how many times are they moving? Are they growing so fast that they need to have a larger physical location? Do you have plans to move in the future? Because that could cause disruption. Or it could be an opportunity. If they're thinking about expanding to an additional warehouse, you may have multiple addresses. You may get tax advantaged in another state. So understanding what their growth pattern looks like, or their trajectory, is going to be very, very important. Understanding what percentages of different clients they take. So, looking at the different business models that we have, you've got wholesale and you have OA primarily. So understanding who they cater to is going to give you an understanding of their ability to serve you in a good way. So if you're a wholesale client, but they typically work with OA, maybe that's not the best fit, or the vice versa. So understanding their business model is going to be very, very important to understanding how reliable they're going to be. How many addresses can they intake product at? So this is going to help you if you're OA, and so you have multiple addresses to shoot product to. So some sites will ban certain addresses, so you may have some flexibility in kind of dispersing that order load across different addresses, and maybe you can kind of fly under the radar a little bit. Understanding the prep center's intake model is going to be very, very important as well. So what does their check-in process look like? What do they have monitoring that check-in process? Are they scanning every product and creating a repository of images so that if there was a discrepancy, you would be able to reference that? So getting an idea of what it looks like when the product arrives, how do they intake that product, will be very important to you understanding what levers you can pull if there are discrepancies. Asking the prep center for different examples of prepped products, this will give you a really good idea of the quality of work that they're going to be producing. So an example would be, are you removing the retail price from the item? How are you polybagging, etc. And the last question would be, do you have a referral program? So if you're doing this right, you will be creating a network of quality people in your circle, and you may be able to refer them as a good client to that prep center. So what this can do, different prep centers will have different responses. Maybe they give you a $25 gift card. Maybe they discount your prep in the future. This is just something to ask so that you can be a good partner to them and make their acquisition cost a little bit lower. All right, guys, thanks for watching this YouTube video. I hope you got some value from it. It was fun to put together. But if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment or shoot me a message on Twitter. Always happy to help.